Kala Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai Brakat Yahweh Brakat Yahweh Shai Brakat Yahweh Brakat Yahweh Shai Brakat Yahweh Brakat Yahweh Shai the Wada Abba Abba Kal Kadash. I like to give double honors to the elders, apostles of Great Millstone that teaches truth, which is the 100% truth, the true word of our Lord. Yahweh being the Father, Yahweh Shai being the Son, the Redeemer, our Savior. Do a lesson this morning. It's going to be on the nigger woman or the black woman, mainly the Southern Kingdom woman, but really all the tribes, because the curses fall on Jake as a whole, even the Northern Kingdom, but more so on the Judite woman, you so-called black woman of the Americas. And the reason you're cursed the most, because Judah is the main tribe. Even the men, the men are cursed as well. But we definitely see the reflection of our people as a whole through the nigger woman, through the black woman. And the black woman has become one of the worst things on the planet, man, up under Esau, Edom, And I've been watching some content creators, guys from that's on the what they call red pill space, that kind of go, they go into details, a lot of things. They kind of do reaction videos of some of these Keishas, what they be doing and some of the things they be saying. And really, this goes all the way back to slavery time, man, that Keisha has, say Keisha, but black women has been siding with Esau Edom. Now, before you had these content creators, I remember back in the day, I really wasn't into the truth, but I remember seeing GMS going in, especially the beloved elder Apostle Tahar, man. When I first started getting into GMS, that's when he was out there, I think 142nd Street up in New York, or 125th Street, something like that. Well, anyhow, it was this Tahar, beloved elder Apostle Tahar, he was, doing his preaching. Then him and the nigger woman got into a debate. She started a debate with me, while he was still preaching, and she tried to get into like a little debate. Then she became outright kind of argumentative. And you can see beloved elder Apostle Tahar whole visage change, his whole image changed. He just went in on her. He went in on her hard, man. I was like, God damn. Now you gotta realize at this time I wasn't in the truth, man. At this time I was still in the world, being raised in a matriarchal world. We like kind of preaching is this, and it's kind of hit me like, God damn. It's for red pill now. For the red pill dudes been coming out, Kevin Samuels and all that. So it was something new. Then it took a while for me, because I had to shed all that off me, man, to realize, man, how much we've been indoctrinated to think that Keisha's supposed to run this thing. These black women are supposed to be in such high regard where we're supposed to accept anything that they do. And then as I kind of grew more into the truth, man, it started coming on me, man, because the brother was saying, we are the men of the Lord, man. Yahweh Shai didn't move in this fashion, where they allowed the women to come in and just be disrespectful and do certain things. That's not our ways, not our makeups, not who we are. These are things that we've taken over the years from the trait from Esau, being up under Esau Edom, in his raising his, growing up in his matriarchal society, because where they put a woman on the pedestal, hold them up so high that they have no accountability. We hold them accountable for nothing. And that's why you see all this that manifested into what we have now, man, which we call the Keisha, man. This beast, this nigger woman beast, man, which all was a creation of Esau Edom. So we in the time now, you got the red pill guys now out there, had Kevin Samuels and all them, and a lot of people attribute that to Kevin Samuels. No, this goes all the way back to GMS. because these other camps still don't do it. You know, these other camps still pander to the nigger woman, man, because it's all about clicks and views for them. Because, you know, if you go in on a nigger woman, if you go on a nigger woman, you're going to lose that female audience. And people understand that women outnumber the men. Plus women, you know, they, by their emotion, you can easily bring them in and get them to, as long as you agree with them and don't go against them, they're pretty much side with you and send you donations and whatever else, man. That's why the nigger church, that's why the the nigger church, the Catholic church, or the black church, we might say the nigger church, caters to the black women, man. Caters to the black. You might have a male preacher up there, but most of them don't even have male preachers now. They have the women leading the church, which that goes definitely against the Bible. But they justify it. They'll gloss all over that. Don't even see that, or just say that was back then. This is not now. You know, because they live in a world of delusion. You know. And that's why they fit perfectly Esau Edom, man. That's Esau Edom's sidekick, man, is the nigger woman. And it's always been that way since we've been over here. And we realizing that Eve has been, you know, been in the bed with the enemy the whole time, man. We've been sleeping with the enemy and realize that they're going back and are complacent with the enemy and keeping us in our captivity. That's why you find a lot of women that's going to reject this hard truth, man, because this truth is a bitter pill to swallow. Because these women have like a Jezebel spirit that's on them, man. You go back and read in Jezebel, man, during that time, the spirit that she had. You know, you couldn't tell her nothing. You know, she was ruling over her king, and you know, and just total straight out wicked. And that's the same exact spirit that's on these women today, man. And that's what the Bible tells you. That's why the serpent went to Eve first, her being the weaker vessel. Her being the weaker vessel, not knowing that will make her a weaker vessel because of her emotions. And by he playing to her emotions, she didn't want to be up under Adam. She wanted to be equal to or either above Adam. And now we see that manifest to this day, her still listening to Esau Edom. You know, she done broke up her homes back in the 60s. Took these benefits that Esau Edom offered her, said, you don't need your man to survive. I can give you enough to survive. I can give you just enough to survive. Where we were back in that time starting to thrive into our kingdom. No, not into our kingdom, but we were doing much better. We were self-sufficient. We were growing. Actually, we were outpacing these Edomites. So they agreed to terms. You know, you had the MLK thing coming in, and you know, we are all one people and side by side, you know, all that other bullshit. But, you know, you have your Boule at the top and Eve working in conjunction, man, with Esau Edom, man, to help destroy everything that we built together. And now you see the manifestation in the kids that are being brought up now in single parent household, raised without a father. Prisoner pipeline. All this is a creation of Esau Edom. But with our Boule and these Eves being in complacent, being in compliant with them, in agreement with them, they've made backdoor deals, man. And the women are supposed to have a man of the Lord over her to guide her, to keep her in check. Because if you don't put her in check, man, she's easy gullible. And she's easy to be manipulated. And therefore, we have the Eve that we have today, man. So, yeah, that's where we at. And the women are the first, you know, the rears of the kids, man. She's the one that's supposed to nurture the kids, and she's the first teacher of the kids. So she's teaching the kids wrong, teaching them the wrong way. What chance do these kids have in a wicked ass society that we in now, man? They have none. That's why they continue to build more prisons. Because they already project what the prison population is going to be based on how the demographics start off at the bottom. More and more right now, less and less, you know, two-parent household with the father. Because you even got two-parent household where your kids going off. Because the father that's in them household, he has to be compliant to the damn woman, man. He has to listen to the damn nigger woman in order to, she's the king of the household. And these kids see that growing up, so they know the man has no power in that household, man. So that's where we at today. And let me go into Deuteronomy, to the curses, man. My first precept. But it's just amazing to see how Eve has turned into an outright monster, man. Outright monster. And I'm not that old. I'm old enough to know where I've seen the change in a short period of time. So how much more so if this thing were to continue to go on, man? Because you can't tell them shit right now. They're argumentative. They know everything. No accountability. And they rearing the kids. So what chance do these kids have being raised in this society up under Eve like that, man? They have no chance at all, man. Deuteronomy chapter 28, verse 56. The tender and delicate woman among you, which would adventure to set the sole of her foot upon the ground. That means that during that time she was very feminine, which is her main strength, man. She knew how to sit back and listen and follow the lead of her husband, which would adventure to set the sole of her foot upon the ground for delicateness and tenderness. Her eyes shall be evil towards the husband of her bosom. And therefore, like I said, in 1960, they turned their back on the men, man. That was her husband. I'm not talking about tied through the courts where you had to go down there, sign paperwork to make this your wife. Your wife is who, really, you break it down, your wife is, the person you sleep with, the person that you enter when you become one. According to the Bible, that's your wife, man. So she turned her back on her women for Esau's benefits, man, for his scraps, to put her in these projects, where he gonna give her free rent and water and food and do without a husband. And therefore you have these nightmare communities, man. Which they like to call Keisha or nigger woman communities that ran by them, that's dominated by the matriarch. And that's why you have all this chaos for young Jakes growing up in these communities, man, are like animals, man. They become straight up monsters. Some of these little kids, man, are straight up monsters. And her eyes shall be evil towards the husband of her bosom, and towards her son, and towards her daughter. You got mothers now unaliving their daughters because they're jealous of their daughters, and it's all kind of madness, man. All kind of madness. Or they try to, or they either emasculate their male child, or they spoil the child, man, to where he's no good, where he's out here just as feminine as the damn the daughters, man. The daughters become masculine and the men has become effeminate, all caught up in their emotions. That's why they are here unaliving one another, man, in these Keisha run communities. And verse 57, and towards the young one that cometh out from between her feet, and towards her children, which shall bear, for she shall eat them for want of all things, secretly in the siege and straitness wherewith thine enemies shall distress thee in thy gates. And that's going into Jacob's trouble, man. Because when the time of Jacob's trouble comes, these women already don't give a fuck about their kids. And you see already that the so-called black population is at an all-time low because they don't reproduce, or they go out here, they're leading the way in abortions where they're aborting all these kids, man. Where they're sacrificing their kids to Moloch, They're convinced that they're listening to this damn devil, man, this serpent. Like I say, it goes all the way back to the garden. So we're in a time, man, where you Jakes, you're going to have to focus on yourself, man. Pray that the Lord help you with your burning, man, desire to be with these women in this time, especially the nigger women. Like the elders always say, man, don't fuck with these nigger women here in Babylon the Great, because they're going to destroy you. They're going to distress you. You're going to have kids or might have a family with them, and the first thing they're going to do is take you to the Esau Edom's court, which is going to side with her and it's going to help destroy you. Now, I've seen it happen so many times, man, amongst my peers and family members that have actually lost their lives behind dealing with these nigger women in this place, man. So we have to focus on ourselves, man. I mean, going to the gyms, working out, saving your money. But the main thing, staying focused on Yahweh B'Ashem, Yahweh Shai, coming into this truth And like I said, don't pay attention to these other camps out here, man. They just as bad as these Baptist churches, man, with these women, man, because they cater to the women. They don't hold them accountable. They cater to them, man. They allow them to be all up in the comments on the comment board. You know, they have a back and forth with them. You know, actually, they don't even go in to do debates with the women. You know, they just say these things to keep them, but that's not how women are supposed to be in our nation, man. Eve's strength, or our women's strength, is in her sitting back listening to her men. Let the men go out here and do battle. Let the men who the Lord worked through, because the man is the covering over the woman. And we supposed to, you know, and like I said, men, we have to start focusing on ourselves, man, on our health, you know, on our finances. The main thing, most importantly, staying focused on these laws, statutes, commandments, man, because that's the whole duty of man, doing what the Lord has required you to do. Like I said, I've been having a lot of health issues and things that I've worked on, but I do what I can because I have a problem with my back and being able to stand on my knees and stuff. So I have to do more exercise of that where I can do sitting down in order to be able to work out. And so we have to take care and protect ourselves, these temples that the Lord gave us, to the best of our abilities of what we do have, man. And like the elders say, man, stay away from the nigger woman because she will distress you out. Now I know we have those burning desires, but they say if you have to, deal with the women of the other nation. You know, you don't have to marry them, but you know, to satisfy that desire, deal with the women of these other nations. Do not fuck with the nigger woman because she's really an enemy to our nation, man. She one of the ones that helped destroy our nation. Shalaka. And you see how it is now with the women. So imagine how it probably was during the time of slavery, man. They, you know, when Esau had open reign to them, so he can just come take them at any time. But a lot of them probably, if you see it now, many of them probably went there willingly to be with the masters, man. There's nothing changed over time. And like I said, the way our women are really is a reflection of our nation as a whole, because the Lord referenced us to being women when he goes into Judah and Israel. You know, Judah and Israel, when they went off, man, first Israel went off, you know, the northern kingdom started worshiping and being a whore to these other gods, man. She was like a whore. And then eventually Judah soon followed behind and became a whore with these other nations, with the Babylonians and the Assyrians, you know, following after the other gods, worshiping these other gods behind closed doors, which, you know, you see all that in I think it's Isaiah, the book of Isaiah. And therefore we turned our back on the Lord, same as our women turned our back on us. And that's part of our punishment, our women being against us, man. And it's like I said, it goes all the way back to being in the garden, man. And like the beloved elder apostle Tahar was saying, man, we don't have to have the nigger women in order to bring our nation back. We can do it through these other nations. But you have to realize that, you know, because we scattered to the four corners of the earth, a lot of our people are going to look like these other nations. And I watched some videos where Jake went down in certain parts of Mexico, where a lot of those women are very humble, man. And it got a lot of people that are down in Mexico that's been there since before slavery time. You know, they was born over there. And they still have the traditions where you can't speak to the daughter unless you go through the father first. And you have to meet the father, and he has to give his blessing in order for you to even speak to their daughter. I saw that on one of these traveling videos. And so we're going to get women, but we might not, these nigger women that's here in Babylon, the great majority of them are going to be destroyed, man. They're going to make up the major body of the 2/3 that the Lord speaks about in Revelations are going to be destroyed. So we're going to get women from all over the world. Our women look like these other nations. because we've been scattered to the four corners of the earth. A lot of them have these traditions, these patriarch households, you know, where they were raised properly, where they know they're not supposed to reveal themselves and have tattoos all on them, all type of makeup, and where they're supposed to listen to their men, where they're supposed to be able to know where they care about their husband. So we're going to receive those type of women in the kingdom, man. So don't just get caught up on this color thing, because like GMS and the elders often tell you, man, it's not about color in this thing, because we don't know who's who because of the mixing. And that takes you back to, I think it's in, where the devil came and sowed the seed. I think it's in Matthew, yes, St. Matthew's, where the devil came and sowed the seed amongst the seed of the tares amongst the wheat. So you can't really tell who's who. So we have to let the angels make that discernment. So, and we try the spirit with the spirit. That's how we know who's who, man. You can always, you know, tell certain Israelites, man. Like you see videos where Jake and these other nations be having rhythm, and they have a certain style to them, because ain't nobody has that salt but Jake, man. You got to realize the Judite man, wherever he goes, man, he's going to always lay seed wherever he goes, man. That's all part of it. And then you got something that look like us that are tares, man. They're tares. So, you know, Lord will, you know, that we're not those tares, but we know if you receive this truth and you have this truth, you're not a tare. And it's just a time to coming in, you know, take, you know, the men of this of Israel, we got to take care of ourselves and work on our health, you know, eat by eating healthy, fasting, you know, meditate on His word, man. Let the Lord guide you in these times that we're in till we get delivered up out of here, man, because we're going to have righteous women. The women we're going to have going to be catered to us, man. They're going to have that righteous mindset of a Proverbial 31 type virtuous woman, man, that we're going to receive in the kingdom. A woman that's not going to have several bodies on them, because the women there, they got more bodies on them than the men do. You know, they think that they can sleep with more anybody they want, and that's why you have all the diseases out here, man. Woman's supposed to have one man throughout her lifetime, man. One man, unless something we know where that man dies and that covenant is broken, and she can go out here and remarry again. But other than that, they're not supposed to be having, you know, several bodies, several abortions. These women here in Babylon the Great are totally destroyed. They're all tattooed, marked up. These crazy ass eyelashes, pounds of makeup on their face, you know, to hide who they are. And like one of the content creators say, they want to be the white woman. That's what they strive to be. That's why they make themselves look like the white woman, taking bleachers and bleaching the skin, you know, putting this makeup on that totally changes their skin tone from one whole shade to 3 shades lighter, you know, put on with the blonde wigs, the color contacts, the whole nine, man. Our women are destroyed, man. They're crazy. They're really delusional, you know. They have a delusion on them. And that's all part of the enchantments that Esau Edom has put on these women, man. But that's it, man. Lord will, you know, we are edified through this truth, man. And as truth is going to guide us and lead us through, maneuver through these times, man. That's what we call on the Lord to come and destroy this place, and that we may be saved out of it. Because this ain't living, man. This is not living. So with that, say shalom.